here we go. Good morning. What's today? Hello, hello, hello. Woo, what's today? Thursday already. Happy Thursday. Where's this week going? It's so beautiful in Crowborough today. It really is. Absolutely gorgeous. Come on in. Come on in. In fact, you have a look at this artwork while I go and open the window. Oh, do you know what we do need to do? All right, I'll open the window and then I'll, yeah, much nicer. Bit of fresh air. Come on in. Oh, that's better. Right, and while I'm up, why don't we come in a little bit closer? Come in a little closer, baby. Right, that'll do. Hey? Yes, sir. Good morning, come on in. I have been running around like the proverbial BAF. A headless chicken, there you go. AHC, that's better. Gutter. Come on in. Where are you? We're in the southeast of England in a little town called Crowborough, and the sun is shining. It's beautiful here today, absolutely glorious. Steve Ellen's in the building with you this morning. Good morning, Steve. Do me a favour, just let me know that the sound is all right, would you, dear? That'd be great. Yeah, where are you? And how are you? Hey? Where are you and how are you? Do you know what I saw on Facebook last night? There's a lady from the Fiji Islands who joins us. The Fiji Islands. I said to Dave, Fiji Islands, what do you mean in the South Pacific? It can't be. And I looked it up and it is. That's got to be the furthest away. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. How far away are you? I mean, Fiji Islands, that's a long way. That's a couple of thousand miles. I'm sure it's a couple of thousand miles south of even Hawaii. Yeah, it's got to be closer to Australia, isn't it? Oh yeah, Australia's quite a long way. It'd be lovely to know where you are. How far is the SHAC stretching? Eh? Our little community. Our little community. I love it. I love it. This is by far the most important thing I've done in many, many years. That's how I feel about it. I really do. It feels essential. It feels real. Don't you find? God, I tell you what a morning. Come on in, what's the time? 1 minute to, nearly. I got up at a stupid o'clock as soon as the alarm went because I thought I've got to record these, the TV shows. I've got to record the demos for Sunday's 2 to 4 show. And I prepped them all, but I hadn't recorded them. I'm running a bit behind, you know how it goes. You get behind and then you get behind. And so this morning I made my mind up, hang on, somebody's landing in the garden. We don't get many of them over here for the pound anymore. Because we're quite close to the airports. Well, I say close. We're definitely in the flight path from Gatwick or Heathrow. But you haven't heard many flights since lockdown. It's obviously reduced in number. Yeah, so I got up and I was powering through these demos because I wanted to be off the hook by the time you all turned up. And the good news is I cracked it. So I'm really chuffed now because I'm off the hook. I mean, I love Ochanda, I do. And I love doing the demos. You know, it's a great opportunity. What TV channel is going to give you that kind of time to show how to use art and stamps and what have you? So, so on Sunday from 2 to 4, I've done 5 demos, really nice, using new texture mats, stamps, and all sorts. For the mixed media among you, you'll enjoy it. And I even managed to squeeze the cheeky little doodle in for us. Right, come on in. It's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Hello and welcome to the SHAC. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. And this week we've been on the watercolour end of the Pergolina pencils, haven't we? And if you're new to the fold and you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, 1 week we doodle, don't we? Like last week we were down the woods. Gorgeous. And then we show and tell. We show and share on Clarity Worldwide, don't we? And that's amazing. And then the next week we go to our colouring books. So we've got these, not colouring books, colouring postcards, bite size, nice little bite size. So then we use the colouring postcards. And this week we've been using the Parakeets. And these colouring postcards, they're great because they're like artist quality, aren't they? And we're really, really glad, aren't we, that they can take water. Because who knew, you know? I certainly, when we made them, we knew that they were top quality, but we didn't realise that they'd be able to take watercolour so perfectly. So that's a right result. Look, and this is what we've been doing, isn't it? If you haven't got the postcards yet, well, treat yourself. ClarityStamp.com. They're only a tenner for 21 of them in here. That'll keep us going for a while. I reckon that'll keep us going until Christmas. No trouble if we're only doing it every other week. Hey? Yeah. God, we've got good at this now. We've got good at this. And so what we've done this week, we've learned loads of bits and pieces. And yesterday we stopped on the shading, didn't we, on the purple. Do you remember we were saying, if you take a kind of a yellow colour, like a ochre, and then on the tight bits like this, we were going in with the pencil, weren't we? Giving the pencil a reason for being a pencil. That's what we decided, you remember? And then, because they're water, for aquarelle, because they're water soluble, what's great is, if you add water, then you can move them, can't you? So, where were we? Just a little recap. Right, do you remember our mix mat? Invaluable. Let me just put a little bit of water up here. Then let's make a little puddle. Hang on. There you go. Got a bit of water going. And then because they're water soluble, you see, you can go in then with your paint brushes. These are nice, these. They're like water dispensers really, aren't they? But what I like about them is they don't gush, they don't flood. They're very good quality. Great price as well. I don't know how we managed that. Sometimes you go, really? That's very good, isn't it? Right. So that was what we did. And then what I was suggesting was that to do shadow on yellow, you can use purple. And so that was what we were doing then, wasn't it? And you've got choices because you, of course, on the larger areas, if you wanted to, you can, that's what the mix mat's for. Just a little recap, really, right? I can take my water now and I can literally dissolve the pigment on the mix mat. This mix mat's going to come in well handy in a minute. Well handy, what kind of English is that? Very, very useful. I went out for a long walk with one of my oldest best friends yesterday, Anita. We went in the woods. If you go down to the woods today. And we both come from the Medway towns. That's where we went to school together. And she talks she talks just like I do, actually. And sometimes she, because of her job, she has to turn it on a little bit. She turns it on. And I said, well, you sound quite posh when you do public speaking, Nate. She said, well, you sound quite posh when you're on the telly bulb. And she said, where we give ourselves away is we say, sin it, bin it, seen it, been it. Yes. You know, sin it, been there, got the T-shirt, right? What you're supposed to say is, seen it, been there, got the T-shirt. Doesn't sound the same. Doesn't got the same ring, has it? Has it? Seen it, been it, done it, eaten it, eaten it. Yeah, so there you go. And it was really good to hang out with her for a few hours. I haven't seen her since before the lockdown. Good grief. Right, so let's have a little recap. If you wanted to put a little bit of colour in, you can take that colour there from there, and then you can just hop, skip, jump, remember, and then you can come in and you can add you can go in really, really detailed, can't you? Look at that. Look at that. Gosh. I was watching Joanna. I love Joanna Lumley, don't you? I think she's brilliant. And that's how we ended up talking about Sin It Being at Walnut, because we were talking about Joanna Lumley and her, you know, her journey and her travels, and what a formidable woman she is, really, and how terribly doesn't she sound absolutely wonderful? I think she's so lovely. But my mouth would hurt if I tried to talk like that for any length of time, so I don't bother. Right, so we've decided that we can use the tip of the water nib to just pull down colour like that, That's easy, isn't it? And if we've got puddles, we don't mind because it adds texture. And then we decided that we could use the purple. This was really cool. And the purple gave us those beautiful contrasts, look. And we realised that if you wanted to, once it's dry, did I just go in that area? Once it's dry, for example, let's say we want to put a bit of shadow here, right? Then I probably need to just sharpen my pencil a tiny bit, because if I'm going in with a pencil, I need a sharp nib to do this, don't I? Okay, defo. Go slowly when you're sharpening. So if I'm using a pencil, I need a sharp nib to get the detail in. Yeah, so where are you? Fiji Islands. Cool, I bet that's lovely there. Sounds very beautiful, doesn't it? South Pacific. I bet it's lovely. Isn't that the Galapagos? I don't know, my geography is rubbish. Right, so you see, so now what we're looking at here, and this is when it starts to come together, because tomorrow I was thinking that tomorrow we'll do what I would call a finishing day. And what I was thinking was that we ought to consider doing, we ought to consider maybe applying some dry colours. You know, like, let's go over with the polychromos and see what happens. So where am I here? This area here. So I've done that with dry. Let's see what happens if I add a bit of just clean water. Just plain water. See how it dissolves it, look. So this is just a recap really on yesterday, isn't it? Flooded. Hoover. I squeezed. Tissue. Where's my tissues gone? Gosh. Okay. There. That'll be all right when it dries. Okay. So, what I was thinking today, if you're up for this, I'm still missing a few birds. I wanted to show, first of all, so we've done purple on the yellow, and then we wanted to do some blue on the green, didn't we? To get some really nice shading on the green, on the leaves. What do you think about that idea? It's only 10 past. Can we stop for a minute? I've been going like the clappers. I've been going like the clappers. See, it doesn't sound the same, does it? Prost. Oh, that's better. Right, calm down, Gray. How many of you are still in your pyjamas? Don't tell me, I don't want to know. In your nightie. As long as you're safe and you're well and you're happy and you're okay, that's all that matters, you know. And if you're colouring in with us, happy days. And if you're not and you just want the company, do you know what? That's okay too. It really is. It really is. Hundreds of us get together every morning at 10 o'clock for a banter, and we learn a little bit along the way, and if we do, great, but we keep each other company. It's quite a formidable little community, this. It really is. And it's stretching all over the world, which I think is quite phenomenal, don't you? Now, let's have a look at the blue then. So I've got my pergoliners, and I've got two blues. but I want to use the dark blue on the leaf, not the light blue. The light blue we're going to use for the sky. So what I'm looking for is the A4, the dark one. This one, real dark. This one we're going to use for the sky later, right? Let's do a little bit of A4. Right, now we've got choices. Because it's a leaf, you see how I went in with the darker green just to get some texture going? I don't want to make it too dark. I could add more and more and more, couldn't I? But I think what I'm looking at is this area here. Let's just look in on this camera and let's just look at where I've added a little bit. See how the blue has changed the look of that leaf? And that's what I was thinking that we ought to try. Should we do that? So we've got choices, haven't we? And that's what's really great about this. We can either, I've got to roll my sleeves up. At 5 o'clock this morning, it was quite fresh. That's the word I'm looking for. It was fresh in here. And now the sun's starting to come in and it's starting to warm up. It's warming up under the roof. So we've got choices. We can either go in wet with the wash off the mix mat to add our blue. That might be nice. Or we could add a little bit of texture with a pencil onto the leaf directly with the pencil and then add water. So I've got a suggestion. We'll take 2 leaves, we'll do one way and one the other way and see what happens. What do you think? Got to experiment. You could do a mix, but I like this look. I like this look. So let's take this pencil now and let's add, see where the dark is. Is this the purple one or the blue one? Blue? Blue? Yeah. Put the purple one to one side. Right, we're on the blue now. We're on the A4. For those of you who don't live in England, the A4 is a very, very busy road. Right. So do you know what we do when we're when we're colouring with the polychromos? We make a chisel, don't we? Let's do the same thing. Let's make it flat so that we're just adding, we're adding the blue over the top. Where did I go? Oh, here we are. Right. We're adding the blue over the top of the green, but like as if we were shading. You know, like when we do our shading. Right? There we go. Bit round there. So we're going to be able to add quite a lot of shadow tomorrow. Let's put a little bit of blue there, see what happens. Who knows, eh? Let's do a bit of blue around there. This might look too extreme, but we can always take it back, can't we? Right, so let's try that, shall we? Let's put a bit up there. So we're using the flat of our pencil. You're right doing this. Did I just jump to a different leaf? God. No, I did not. Right, there you go. Okay, so I've added a little bit of blue and I might just, I'm taking the sharp, I've flipped the pencil now and I'm getting right in on that. Really, we ought to try that a bit more tomorrow. There you go. So we've got some blue up there, just a flash of blue that I've used with the flat, see? Bit of blue in there. Can always see, let's see if it works. See what happens if we do it this way round. I've got a feeling this is going to be better than, I've got a feeling that this is going to be better than using a blue wash. I think the blue wash will be exactly that. It will just cover up. Let's see what happens if we do this. So bit of water, clear water we're going to use. Get your tissue at the ready just in case you la-la-la-la-la'd it. Okay. Tissue at the ready. Right, and then we'll see what happens. How about we come in on that? There we are. Can you see that better? I'll come in on there. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so we know that there's a bit of pigment around there, so I just put it there. So let's see what happens when we come in. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you come in with clear water. Oh, this is lovely. And see, because it goes a little bit patchy. Look at that. Okay. Look. See? I knew that was going to work. That looks so good. Right, I'm going to turn it round because I want to come in it's a little bit patchy. Mind you, it hasn't dried yet, okay? When it dries, you'll get the true reading, won't you? But, do this. See? And that water, it just dissolves the pigment, but it makes it a little bit granular. That's the word I'm looking for. Patchy sounds a little bit negative, but it's not. It's granular, look. So here, if I put the water on there, so that's the thing about these brushes, they give you exactly enough water to do the job. Do you know, this is looking so nice. I don't know if you can see this okay. Well, you're doing it as well, aren't you? Here we are. And once it's dry, you can go again if you want to add more. But you know, you could get a really lovely... See, because as soon as you touch the paper or the postcard with water, wherever there's water-soluble pigment, it's going to dissolve, isn't it? See, I like that. I like that look. You see, we can add a little bit more, can't we? Now, let's say that area there, that looks a little bit bland, doesn't it? Now, I've got choices. I've just established that. I could go in there and put a wash, you know, put a bit of texture down. Or, let's just, for the hell of it, let's try it. I'll put a bit of blue on the mix mat. And then I'll add a bit of water to it. So, you know how we put the water to one side, don't we? Like that. And then we take the water and we dissolve the colour. Look. There you are. So now you're getting your lovely dark blue. So purple with the yellow and blue with the green. I reckon. Nice. Okay. So what we're going to do, you see, we're going to go like that, and then I'm going to get rid of the excess, and then I'm going to just shimmy down a little bit. I bet that'll look good. Let's have a look whether it looks any different. Right, so I'm going to go along here. I'll leave a little white gap, and then I might spoil it, but I don't think so. Right, and then I'm just going to come down like that, and then just add a little bit of depth there. See, it's very watery. Let's give that 5 minutes and see what that looks like before you say, she's wrecked it. She hasn't. She doesn't know that yet. You're 2 steps ahead of her, okay? I haven't wrecked it. I've changed it. It's only a piece of card, eh? There you go. Now we'll leave that. Stop fussing grey. I'm going to leave that now. And I'm going to see what it looks like when it's dry. Because you can't tell yet, can you? No, you can't. And also, just put a little bit up there now. Right. It might look amazing. You may think, I need to do that in a minute. There you go. So what I've got now is a little bit of blue stained water, and I'm just basically running around trying to balance out the bodge. It's not a bodge. It's not a bodge because it hasn't dried yet. But it's always a good idea to stop when you feel you might have overcooked it and take a look before you completely obliterate it grey. Hey, stop. Right. Okay, we'll leave that to dry and we'll see what it looks like when we come back in 5 minutes' time. I think it looks all right. The reason that we're looking at it, we're all staring at it going, oh, I don't know, Bob. It's because we're staring at one leaf, right? But we don't do that in real life. When you look at the artwork, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the whole thing, yeah? And the other thing is, don't forget, actually look, it's already drying, it's going to be lovely. You won't even notice that big blue stripe down the middle. Don't forget, right, that we haven't done the background yet, which is what I'd love to try now. Should we give it a go? Right, let that dry. Be all right. It'll be all right. Do you get caught up in it when you think you've done it wrong? Get over it. Seriously. I find when I make a mistake, that's when I learn. Well, I wish the same were true in my life. Like generally, I seem to keep making the same mistakes in my life. But it is a learning curve, isn't it, life? When I'm doing craft, though, if I do it right and it all goes swimmingly, then often I can't remember how I did it. But if I make a hellacious mess of it or something goes wrong, I'll know exactly how I did it wrongly. I'll know, you see. So sometimes making mistakes is great. We have good days. That's what we always say, isn't it? We have good days, we have growing days. We're going to have a good day today. We're going to have a good day. I'm coming in to see Lisa. I'm going in to see Lisa at work because I haven't seen her for ages. And then I'm going to see Lucy. Lisa's the lovely girl with who had the baba. And she's back to work, so I'm really excited to go and see her today. And then I'm going to go and see Lucy, and I'm going to take her the woodland artwork, and we're going to have a meeting about turning them into stamps. Yes, we are. Right, look, see, now it's drying and it's fading. It's actually starting to look really cool, isn't it? There you go. So never despair. And you know, the other thing is, I've found that often I'll work in the evenings. Do you do this? You work on a crafting in the evening and you think, this is just rubbish. I do. I mean, nothing's rubbish. It's a learning curve, remember? But sometimes you look at it and you think, I don't know what I'm doing here, but this isn't looking the way I wanted it to. Never bin it. Bin it, not bean it. Never bin it. Sleep on it. And when you come back in the morning with a fresh pair of eyes, I find often it doesn't look half as bad as it did the night before. Don't you find that? And the other trick is, if you're not happy with it because you're focusing on it, this is what we do, don't we? We almost rub our noses in it. Oh, I don't like that. And look, that beak, that beak's not very good, right? So what you want to do is you want to step away from it or put it on the mantelpiece and just keep walking away from it until you like it. Right, come on. Sky, are you happy? Are you happy? You might as well be. You don't get paid any more for being miserable, you know. Right, here we go. So what we're going to do is sort the sky out. Now, we don't want to use that dark blue because that would be quite... Well, it wouldn't look like the South Pacific, would it? If it was dark blue. It would be a tropical rainstorm overhead. So I was thinking we could use this blue, but that blue looks a little bit too watery blue. But there is a trick, and it's an obvious one. And as soon as I say it, you'll go, I knew that. Let me turn this round because all those blue squiggles are confusing me. I'm easily confused. Enter the white one, right? Aqua, white. So as we've been, you know, like we can combine colours. Remember when we combined red, orange red and yellow to create a nice orange and that? So now let's move away from that dark blue. Let's come into a new area. I tried it with the dark, but it did look like there was a storm brewing. But if you put blue down, let's add a little bit of water. So let's just squish a bit of water out onto our mix mat. Right, that'll do. Okay. And then we'll add a bit of water. Right, look, lovely blue, really. Right, and if you water it down, the waterier it is, the lighter it will be. But also, the more it soaks up, you know, into the paper and stains the paper. So you do want a kind of a... You do want a bit of oomph, don't you, to the water. You're not just staining it with water. But if we were to take a little bit of white now, let's just take a little bit of white and change the actual tone. I mean, that's what you do on a Pantone. On a computer, you know, you always mix it in with the white, and it changes it completely. Look, see now, here I am now taking the blue into the white. So you take the blue into the white, and you're gonna get a properly much more authentic sky blue. Do you see? So that would be a really good starting place, wouldn't it? See how white works really well. Now, if you wanted to make it cloudy, because that's not cloudy, guess what you'd add to make it cloudy? Yep, exactly. You'd grab your black one and you put but black savage. You put a tiny, tiny bit of black in and you'll see it get grayer and grayer and grayer. Okay, so your blacks and your whites are really cool for that. Okay, that's a good top tip, isn't it? Right, pretty basic really. Look at the state of my hands, are all inky. I want to show you a picture before we begin from, I got the most gorgeous present sent through the post. You're so generous, you good people, you know. I receive such beautiful presents and cards from you, and it's always greatly appreciated. It really is. And yesterday I got this, look, this is so good, from Sue York, and she sent me a card. Wait till you see the card though. And in the card it said, I hope this helps you keep your pencil for a little while longer. So she's obviously in the SHAC. Good morning, Sue. And what she meant was, look, she sent me an extension. I know. And there you go. And there's my little HB, and it can go for a lot longer now. Isn't that super? I love it. Oh, I see. And then that bit goes up and it pushes up like that and it holds it in place. I was wondering if it might fall out. Thank you so much, Sue. Isn't that superb? There you go. Now, I want to show you the card. This was painted by Sue herself. Look at that. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah, Sue, you really are a talented artist. Oh, isn't that the sweetest thing? Look at the colour of the sky though, because that's where we're going today. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you so much for that, Sue. Yeah, impressive, huh? Oh no. So let's start, let's play it safe. You know, I always say, let's play it safe. We'll start with a light colour and we'll start in a corner. Right, let's start up here. So I've got my light going, right? Hop, skip, jump. And don't worry, as you go through, you go, oh, missed that stalk, missed that leaf, missed that bird. See the detail. It's all right, you can always go in afterwards again. So let's have a look. That blue there, let me just check it. Got to do a check. That's quite nice, you know. I'm going to stick with this light blue and then I'll go in and do the darker colour afterwards if I choose to. That's what I want to do. So I'm using you could do, it's your artwork, they're your birds, it's your parakeets. You decide what colour you want to do your blue. I'm going really lovely, light blue, gentle. No. That's the colour I want to go, because I think that's going to be just exactly right. So I'm going to this colour here, and I'm gonna go, oh hello, I'm going to go right along the top, I think, first, so that if I do change the depth of the blue or the lightness, it won't change along that area, it will change going down. Hey? What do you think? See, these brushes are pretty good, you know. I have to say, I'm impressed. Beryl Shepherd, I appreciated your comment as well, because she said, it's all very well me saying they don't puddle, they're really good quality, they're a brilliant price, but it's when you get a third-party endorsement, when somebody else says, Cor, these brushes are superb. Beryl said yesterday on Facebook, she said what I like about them is that they don't flood. You know that whole puddling thing, because there are a lot of these brushes out there. I remember when they first came around, and you've been around. I'm like the dinosaur of the craft world. I am. I don't think there's many much older than me in the TV game. Hang on. I can't laugh and do this. I can't laugh and do many things. If I'm laughing, I'm laughing. Let's have a look. But I remember when these brushes came out, and there's a lot of rubbish out there as well. They leak. That's what they do. They just leak water. So you'll be going along and then suddenly poof. And I'm not product bashing. You've got to figure it out for yourself. But what I'm saying is the ones that we provide you with, the ones we sell, are good quality. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be selling them. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, and when it gets lighter, you can't tell what it's going to look like, can you? Until it gets lighter. But I'm going to go all the way along the top with this colour. And by that time... And then tomorrow, you see, this is quite... Do you know what? This is just what I needed. I was getting a little bit before we started because I was desperate to finish the recordings, you know, and I had one to go. I thought, can't I? So I went for it. But then you get into a bit of a scramble, don't you? Here we go. And this is just perfect for calming you down, I tell you. Does me, doesn't it you? See, now if we were working on watercolour paper, yeah, this is going to look so nice. If we were working on watercolour paper, you'd probably put a little layer of water down before you put the wash down. You know what I mean? Like a little glaze. How's it looking? Do you know what I find as well? It's so quick. It's so much faster. Watercolour, isn't it? You just push the colour around. Look. I'm not saying this is like... No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm absolutely not saying this is like quick crafting. Watercolour art is not quick crafting. But what I'm saying is you can certainly change your picture quickly, can't you? The water certainly does help the colour travel. That was a delicate way of putting it, wasn't it? Right, now I've got to reload my little palette here. So what do I need? What's today? Thursday. Blue. I need the white. That's the one. So a bit more white. There we are. I'm going to take that brush. I need a little bit more water as well. I could get right into this, you know. Take the blue to there. Yep. Nice. Is it the same blue though? Oh, I don't know. It'll do. Yeah, I reckon. Might be a bit darker, might be a bit lighter. Add a bit of water. Who cares? It's certainly the same. It is, isn't it? That'll do. Right. Hop, skip. Yeah. Jump. Let's come down a bit. Are you up for this? See, the thing is, by the time you get to the bottom, the top will be dry. Right, we're going for a big area now. So I'm going to get a bit more water on my... Do you remember the way we flooded it like that? So you go, bush, like dancing. Dancing with the brush. You get in like that. And then there we are. And Lisa's mum, bless her, she sent me a jigsaw puzzle. One of those was jigs, you know, or was gidges. You know, the ones that I like doing where there's no clue on the lid. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Yeah. I do like a jigsaw puzzle. Don't you? It's very again, it's just massive distraction, isn't it? Don't you find? I get lost in, and I like the jigsaw puzzle that you don't get, you're not copying the lid. I did start another one with loads of birds that was also a present from a lovely customer years ago, and I didn't have a wasjig anywhere, one of these weird ones, and so I started that one. But it's even more difficult than the wasjig one because it's got loads of birds. It's beautiful, it's like garden bird one, but blimey, there's a lot of green in it. And it all looks the same. I reckon this is going to be all right. Did I do that bit? It's a little bit lighter, isn't it? That's all right, though. Doesn't matter. Right, water. Let's make this lighter. You can always go back, can't you? Just push it around a bit. You all right with this? See, it's a good idea to kind of get into the line by turning the artwork round. There we go. And then if you've got a little bit of a... So you don't worry about if you've got a bit of a stain or anything. Look at my leaf now. Delightful, isn't it? And what's the other thing about these postcards is they don't buckle. I mean, you'd have to be hosing this paper down, this card down, you know, for the water to be showing through here. If you can see what you're doing on this side, you may want to take your foot off the water pedal. You know, you're putting too much water down, way too much. You shouldn't be able to see it on this side. I can't see. There's no buckling or anything going on here. But the colour in the background for an undercoat is just perfect. This blue and, isn't it? And then once I get this one colour down, then we can go back and decide whether we want to go a bit darker. I might put a little bit more blue in this one as I'm coming down. Yeah, a bit more water, a bit more blue, just getting there a bit more. Because I feel that all I'm doing is wetting the card here. You can't even see there's no difference. All right. Let's have a look now. Okay, that's more like it. I can't even see what I've painted and what I haven't painted. That's how faded mine is. Here we are. Yeah. So we'll come round here. Nice. It's all right. Your volume's all right. It's just I've gone quiet for a minute. Somebody said to me, how do you keep talking for an hour when you're not talking to anybody? I said, what do you mean I'm not talking to anybody? I'm talking to about 400 people. And I bet half of them are answering me back. Right? I was at pottery yesterday afternoon. I shot off to pottery because it really is my salvation. I love it, love it, love it, right? And Marilyn, she's my buddy, she's next to me. She's really good. We started at about the same time. In fact, she started a little bit after me and she's really coming along like brilliant work. She came in yesterday, right, with, what are they called? A level. You know, builders use them. What's it called? A spirit level. There you go. She came in to pottery with a spirit level. A little miniature one. And I said, not perfectionist at all then. Marilyn, she's ever so lovely. She laughed. 5 minutes into the class, I said, can I borrow your spirit level, please? My pot was so pissed, it looked like it was going to fall over. So in the end, social distancing, we were at this table and she's obviously at the one end of the table and I'm at the other end. And on the third stroke, can I borrow your spirit level, please, Marilyn? She said, I'll tell you what I'll do, Bob. I'll just put it in the middle for you. So there you go. First I was mocking her and then I was... Eating my words, you see. Spirit level for pottery. No wonder our pots are so brilliant and mine are so wonky. I decided as well yesterday that I'm going to start my notebook again. I've got a bit rudderless. Yeah, at pottery now. Because it's all been a little bit of a, with the lockdown and what have you. And then when it started again, I was so grateful to go. I was just grateful, But you've got to leave all your gear in the car and you've got to take your own tools and it's all this. And so I usually take a little notebook and I write, I make plans and I say, right, this is the shape that I want to design and this is what I want to do and this is what, this is my... And the first 2 years, I did that fastidiously. I always wrote in a little book and I knew where I was going and I knew what I was doing. Well, since we've been back, which has been 4 weeks now, I haven't bothered with that. It's like I've let that slide, So I don't really think about what I'm doing until I turn up again, which is rubbish. Now, Marilyn, I know for sure, she must sit at home. Well, I know she does. She's got a little notebook. She knows exactly what glaze she's going to use. I don't even know what pot I'm making, let alone what glaze I'm going to use. And so I have to sort of take a leaf out of Marilyn's book on this one, and and get my little notebook out and give it some thought. Because when I started, it's only because of all this, chaos. There's no other word for it, really. It's only because of the chaos that I've been distracted. So I'm going to start my little notebook again. And what that will do is it will make me think about what I'm doing before I get there. What about you when you come here? Have you got a little notebook? Do you write things down? Or did you just say, "Sold it, where's my cup of tea? I'm going to go and join that barb that talks to herself for an hour every day"? Either way is fine. But I think sometimes it's not a bad idea to write down, especially if you want to learn stuff, if you want to get good at something or better. I don't think a little notebook's not a bad move, A little test journal as well. Like, to be fair, right, and this is not me trying to sell you a watercolour pad or anything, but if you wanted to know what colour blue this is, like 6 months from now, will you remember? But if you took because you've got to really do it on watercolour paper to know what it's going to look like. This is just a tester, isn't it? A postcard. But if you get one of those little books and you use it as a little Pantone tester. Do you know what I'm getting at? And then you could make a little note. When you do yellow, use purple to shade. When you do green, use blue to shade. When you do really lovely light blue skies or baby blues, then add a little bit of white. If you want cloudy skies, add a bit of grey. And if you write all that down, there's so much stuff. I do wish... if I'd written it down, I'd know it, or at least I'd be able to know where to look. But I often find at pottery, I should know stuff, but because I'm not making a note, I'm not really progressing. So I ought to. I'm just adding a little bit more blue to my white. Is yours looking good? I bet you can't even see that I've got any colour on mine. But this is the first colour. This is the first layer. I don't want it to be too dark. I want it to be baby blue and lovely and light. Don't you find, you look at the sky, most days, actually, I just looked out the window and it's bright blue and not a cloud in the sky in Crowborough. but I want to put an undercoat down and then go back. That's what I want to do. So it's like a wash. I bet that's the word for it too. I bet. The word for what we're doing here is wash. Isn't it? No. And I'm using the big brush so I don't get stained. But look, no stains really to speak of, because we're using such a white blue. It's fine, isn't it? Add a little bit of depth. Yeah. And you've got to kind of wait until you've got to kind of wait, haven't you, until it's dry as well, so you can see what it looks like. But imagine if we were doing this with polychromos, we'd still be up there. Wouldn't we? Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the polychromos, it's just a whole other look, isn't it? Hey? It's a whole other look. And for me personally, it's that transition from pencil to brush. That's what I'm getting so much more control now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling, I can see exactly, once you do this for a few days, you get it, don't you? You get the feel. It's not so alien, is it? What is that? Is that that's a hole. Okay. So that's a hole, so that's going to be blue. There we are. Yeah. So this is the only bit I've missed. Look, you can see it, can't you? Right, a bit more water, a bit more blue. It's going to look brilliant when it's done. And what I'm going to do, let me just put some more blue in here. That. Right. What I'm going to do is, once this is dry, I'm going to go in with a darker blue. See, I played it safe because I wanted to see what it would look like. So I'm practicing with a light blue how the stain works, if that's what it is, isn't it, basically, right? How much water I need for it to glide. Right, see, that's quite a lot that I've put down there. See, because I'm getting impatient. And I forgot to hop, skip, jump. See, and straight away, look, see how I bleed? Look, stain. But it's okay because it will dry. We'll see what it looks like when it's dry. And also because it was up the side. I'd like to say I did that deliberately, but I didn't. I did it because I was rushing. And the whole point of this, what we do, look, it's like water, look, there's nothing on there anymore. But the whole point of what we do here together every morning at 10 o'clock is to take our minds away from, don't we? We take our minds away from all those things that make us anxious, and we relax into a piece of artwork. That's what we do. But you can see here that it's waterier, and so it's staining. Isn't that interesting? Right, I wonder what will happen if I let that bead. You know, like it makes beads, doesn't it, water? I wonder if I just let the water sit in those little, like there. Let's give it a bit more oomph. Like that. I wonder if I just let that bead in there, what will happen? We will see. And once this is completely dry, my little picture, the background, yeah, see, I think I'm going to have to hoover that up because I can see what's going to happen. That grey is going to bleed into your leaf, isn't it? Right, where's that tissue? Right, here we go. Oh, true crafter, eh? That'll do. Right, much darker. Look. So once I've got my light blue colour down, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a darker blue underneath everything. So in other words, let's have a look. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Yeah. So under here, for example, let me just, what time is it? Is it, it can't be already, is it? Let me add a little bit of that darker blue now. Because this is going to be, this is dry up here. So I'll do it in that area. And let's see if it works. I don't want it too dark, so you can always add it, but it's quite a monkey to take away, isn't it? So let's say, for example, I want to put a bit of shadow underneath there. Right, just a little bit darker under there. And a little bit darker under there. So I've gone in with a much darker colour, look. See? So I'm just going in off the top, like a shadow. I'm almost using the leaves. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. So see the colour is a bit different now. Very watery though. Still very watery because I want it to be able to dry. Look, this is going to be good. And then if I don't want a stripe, then what I'll do is I'll take the water and I'll push up the other way. I'll work my way up and then that way it will blend in. But I don't mind a bit of stain on the sky, do you? Yes, that's it. So here we go. In there with a bit of colour. Down we come. And then if we don't want a stripe, then you can grab a bit of water, just clear water, and push up against it. And that will just blend it in together nicely. See? See that bit there versus the bit where I haven't done yet? Let's have a look. Let's go up close and see if you can see. Now the thing is, this has to dry yet, but it's got a lovely sky effect because we put the lighter colour underneath. Yeah? It's got to look good when it's done. Do you fancy doing this? We could finish it tomorrow. We could have another little play with the blue tomorrow if you like. I've got to concentrate though on this. I do. Don't you feel you want to kind of just get in it and shut her up? Me, I mean. Just give yourself a chance, Gray, and let them relax into their artwork. That's what I'm thinking, right? So this way, you could go in, it would only take you about half an hour, wouldn't it? Yes, that's what you're going to do. Without me wittering on, right? Sorry for wittering on. Doesn't this look glorious? It's going to look so pretty when we get the shading in right on the sky. And the only thing that I would suggest is, though, that when you're going in with another layer of blue, that you let the layers dry. It's very important because if you don't, you can't really see what it's going to dry to. You know? It does. You need to look at what it's going to dry to before you add another layer, you know? And I think tomorrow what we'll do is I'll finish my blue. I'm going to finish my blue today. And then tomorrow, what would be a really good idea? We could use the aqua pencils, but dry. And we could get the dry end of the blending tools out. And what about we add a little bit of shadow? Because there's a lot of birds and leaves. And there are layers here. But the layers aren't showing so much. So let's add depth tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. I hope you've enjoyed this session. Thanks so much for helping, Steve. We're doing okay, you know. You and I and Clarity. It's all going to be okay. We just got to keep going, one day at a time. It'll be fine. Don't worry about the news and we've got to concentrate on what we're doing. That's the only thing that we can control. I can only control what I do, and you can only control what you do. It's so obvious, isn't it? And all this fear and, you know, and all the stuff that's going on, Do you know what? It's going on with or without my panic attacks. It's going on. And with or without my anxiety, it's going on. I can't control it. But I can control me, and I can control my, well, to the best of my ability, my mood, my mindset, you know. And I just hope that you catch a little bit of that, you know, that it's not a fatalism. It's not, oh, well, that's it, we're doomed anyway. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. But I do believe that our thoughts become our mindset, you know. I think that, don't you? I think if you think sad and you think panic, you'll get sad and you'll get panic. Conversely, if you think, do you know what, today's a beautiful day, and I'm gonna sort these beautiful little parakeets out, and I'm gonna give it a go. Why not? What else did I have on my list of things to do today? You know, find a lovely place, make a beautiful drink that you really enjoy. Don't get plastered. I'm talking about like a herbal chamomile tea or a peppermint tea. If you drink too much sherbet, you won't be able to see the line, will you? Have a smashing Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for the last session on the parakeets. We'll finish this one up tomorrow, and then I've got a brilliant plan for next week. I'm excited about this one. I haven't actually drawn anything yet, but in my head, it's amazing. Lots of love. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.